So Justin, given all this, do we regret buying new?
Well, you know...
Hey friends, welcome to another video. So when we were looking to buy an RV to full-time in, one of the biggest pieces of advice we got was do not buy a new RV.
Do not buy a new RV.
Yep, it's conventional wisdom. You're going to hear it from everybody.
But you know what we did?
We bought a new RV. Why is this conventional wisdom? There's usually truth behind a statement.
Yes, there's definitely truth around a statement. I would say probably the number one reason people will say that is depreciation.
Yes.
The reason used RVs are so much cheaper is because you lose 20% just rolling off the lot.
Yep.
As soon as somebody else has lived in it, it's not worth what it was anymore.
It's like a new car that way. It's somewhere between a car and a house, but it leans on the car side.
Yep, and because it's so expensive, it's that depreciation curve, it feels a lot steeper. Even
it's a big hit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually the number one financial advice.
And then there's a second reason too, right? Because most of the times the manufacturer's defects and everything will show within the first year or so.
So you're gonna have somebody that's already taken it on a shakedown cruise and tried to fix or warranty everything that went wrong. We've already talked about what we had happen in our brand new RV. We'll get that video linked. But we absolutely did, but we also went into that with our eyes open. So, you know, buying a brand new RV, there's going to be things that break.
Yeah, we were expecting things to be broken, which is part of why we weren't that upset about it.
But I would also say in a used RV, it's just going to be different stuff that's broken. You could end up having to deal with somebody's shoddy repair work. So somebody could had an issue and they patched it. Maybe a pipe broke and they just took a piece of Gorilla Tape and taped over it, and that was good enough. But then you wake up one day and your rig's flooded. Because
we had that friend who was looking at the auction, the rig that was really great, but it had all that damage, like the roof was half total.
Oh yeah, so I think she...
Good friend of ours.
Yeah, so she messaged us to be like, so... The seller said that it was normal for the roof to be soft. I'm just like, no.
So anyway, we knew all about that going in, and we still ignored the advice. So Justin, why did we ignore the advice? Why did we do that?
So there were a couple of reasons. Number one, we actually have a bunk model. Now, we've changed our floor plan a little bit, but the floor plan that we wanted is, I think, still a little rare and more expensive. Number two, we were buying coming out of COVID a little bit.
Yes, and the market value was all messed up.
Yep.
Actually, the one we chose, the one we bought new, there was only one used model. It was in Florida, so we would have to go get it. And it was $25,000 more for a 2-year-old RV than we could buy it new, because somebody had bought it when it was, you know, $50,000 or $60,000 more, and they were trying to get their money back.
Yep, several years before people were buying RVs for over MSRP.
Yeah, you remember what our sales guys say that about the people competing, like they were outbidding each other. They were going above RVs, the price.
Just like some of the housing markets out there.
Yep.
So that's what we found, and even some of the similar bunk models that we found, a heavily used one, which 3 years old. I think it had actually about 36,000 miles on it, which is pretty good for an RV. Probably had been full-time then. Was honestly only $20,000 less than what we were being offered for a new RV.
Yeah.
For a new motor
and we didn't have a warranty on that or anything. Like we actually, you know, he's very handy and he's done a ton of work. You know, all his work he's done himself. But if we'd had something that basically totaled the RV, like a roof issue, like our friend was talking about, or, you know, something major, we would have gone through the warranty process, and it would have been worth doing that.
Yeah. So that is a positive to buying a brand new RV, is you do get they hand them out like candy because they want you to be comfortable. They hand out warranties and extra warranties, and obviously gave us the manufacturer's warranty. The place we bought us through, I think, also had their dealership warranty, and then they also gave us RV Complete, which is a whole other secondary warranty on top of everything else. So we got lots of warranties that, if we needed, were there and available for us.
I would say don't buy an additional warranty. Go with whatever's bundled in. You shouldn't be paying more. They should be throwing it in.
Yeah. There's a reason they push them so hard, is because it's almost pure profit for them.
And one good conventional piece of wisdom that we did follow is that if you're not getting 30% below MSRP, you're probably not getting a good deal.
Yes.
And we certainly got that. We actually did better than that.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about when we bought our RV?
Sure, yes. So the absolute worst time to buy an RV is the spring and summer, when people are really excited about it. We actually went in, and it was over Thanksgiving that we bought the RV.
So it was around Dallas. It was cold and rainy and overcast, I think. With our first visit, we didn't even attract the attention of a salesperson.
That's right. We were actually able to roam all around. We looked at a bunch of models ourselves. We knew exactly what we wanted by the time we even saw a human being, which was great.
Yep. They had already started to mark what we were interested in down. They actually ended up marking him down for us even before we went in.
Yeah, we didn't even ask for anything, and he took another $5,000 off, didn't he? Yeah.
It's actually really good conventional wisdom to not buy in the spring.
No.
Number one. And to buy in off time. I would also argue that you should not buy at a show.
No.
Because I know you get really, really excited and you really want to buy it.
But when you're excited is when you make really bad financial decisions. You want to have your cold, ruthless heart when you go in. So yeah, for us, we bought it over Thanksgiving. It actually worked really well. They were trying to clear, like you said, clear out for the new models. For us, we were actually able to take it, since we were in Dallas, we were in that area, we were able to take it on a couple of trips before we winterized it, which was really nice too. Another reason that I would say that it was good for us to buy it new is because we went into it expecting there to be things wrong with our RV.
Yeah, I would argue that something this complex, no matter you buy used or new, you're always going to have something wrong.
Yeah.
Something was put together wrong, something was fixed wrong.
It's almost like they make typos in the build. And then you have to go through and proofread your RV and fix them. Yeah,
and I fully expect things to continue to break. You're basically driving something that has a Richter 5 earthquake going on all the time going down the road. Things are going to break, and I went into that, and we went into that expecting that, and understanding that that was going to be part of our lives.
I think if you go in expecting a new RV to not have any sort of quirks or things you need to fix, you're going to be really disappointed, and you shouldn't buy one.
Yep. So I'm going to go off on a tangent. I would argue don't rely on warranties. I was talking to the guy that was showing us around after we had bought it. He was one of the repairmen, and the number of RVs that were in there for slightly cosmetic issues.
Oh my gosh.
That were just sitting around because they had more important things to get to. You know, something that blew its engine or had a major slide issue or something like that. Right. So they were just sitting around. Don't expect that the warranty is going to cover that there's a swirl in the paint or that a light bulb is out. If you're even slightly handy, go ahead and fix it yourself. I mean, I get some people consider it almost a
matter of pride.
Yeah.
The principle of the thing.
Yeah, so some people think it's the principle of the thing. But just think about how much time it's going to be worth to you. Yeah,
you're really hurting yourself. You're not hurting the dealership, because while you're waiting for them to work on it, it's getting lot rot. Depreciation is an issue. You're not getting to go on trips. You're really punishing yourself more than the manufacturer. So if you can fix it, if it's a small thing, just do it. So Justin, given all this, do we regret buying new?
Well, no. I actually don't regret buying new.
Would you do it differently?
There's all sorts of things you could consider.
Well, we learned so much by buying a new RV and fixing it and everything. It's kind of like we could probably deal better with an old one now that we've had a new one.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of things I could say that I could have done better, and I would say that for all of my life in general.
Well, and I think, the next time we go out, we're going to have to just take it as it is. We're going to have to make a reasonable decision about what the prices are doing, what there's available. If we're doing a Class A instead of a Class C, the Class A's tend to hold up better over time, so we might get an old one and fix it up.
I think at the time, given all the factors that we've talked about here, it made perfect sense for us.
We have no regrets about it. Yeah. I will say a bigger mistake would have been buying a bigger rig than we needed, and I see people do that all the time.
Yes.
I wish people would talk about that more.
Yeah, so they would have sold us probably twice the RV, so we probably could have bought a bus.
Yes. Yeah, when they pulled the credit, they were actually kind of surprised that we were buying kind of a modest RV.
Yep. So we bought what we thought we could comfortably afford.
Comfortably is important.
We were still living in an apartment at the time, but we wanted to make sure that as we went down the road and things broke, and even I wanted to make sure that if 6 months after we bought it and we were living it full time, if we suddenly decided that this was not for us anymore, things were awful, life was horrible, we had an escape plan, and we had the funds and the things that we could use to get out of that life without too much hassle.
Yeah, so getting a long stay hotel and then getting into a lease or what have you, like the exit plan. We needed to have that safe. We also didn't want to be worrying about, how we were going to afford repairs, like you said, or campgrounds, or not doing fun stuff while on the road.
Yep. So for us, that kind of factored into some of that, because we could have bought a used Class A. We could have done lots of different things, but given all the different factors, this was the right thing for us.
And I think that's a bigger mistake than buying new, is buying something you can't comfortably afford. Whatever that is for you, because everybody's situation is different.
And also, I would say somebody has to buy them new, because otherwise there wouldn't be any use
Right?
left.
That's the other thing. Although I don't know if people want to do a humanitarian thing by buying something new for other people, but somebody's going to buy them new, right? So,
So I'd say, for us, this was a great decision. But why don't you let us know how, did you buy new? Did you buy used?
Were you stung by either decision? Let us know so we can all learn from each other.
Yep. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we will see you again next week.